Today on Endures, I want to talk about three underrated skills in the modern world that leadership teaches us that we can actually apply to our lives. So I'm Suzanne Rath, and you're listening to Endures for your daily dose of endurance leadership and life lessons. Now, these three things came to me on a 4-hour trail run this morning, which is where I got all of my best ideas, but also due to a conversation with my husband. And they are clarity, composure, and commitment. So, clarity is something that leaders are taught even. And it's really, really important because to get people to follow you, you have to be clear. You have to be clear in your vision. You have to be clear in where you're going. You have to be clear with your communication. Clarity is kindness, right? So important. So important to be clear in where we want to go in our lives, in our businesses, in our leadership. But think about how many times in your personal life that clarity might be better. Think about maybe those personal relationships, those family relationships where you spend your time wasting time thinking, well, are we meeting up? What are we doing? I'm not quite sure where that person's going. They haven't committed to this. Are we doing the thing? Are we not doing the thing? Again, clarity is kind. Now, the second thing is composure. So, with the two guys I was running with today, we were talking about, I can't remember who it was, if it was Richard Branson or somebody else, who said that if the world meditated, that we would have less world wars. I think that if more people actually got out in nature doing something, whether it's scuba diving, whether it's trail running, whether it is walking the dog without your phone, whatever it is, where you are connected to nature, you would actually build more composure and have the time just to think, just take a pause. Composure and self-regulation for leaders is such an essential toolkit. Now, this is not to say that we are all amazing, perfectly formed humans who never react, right? I still find myself reacting. I am not a perfect human. But what leadership has given me, what trail running has given me, what maturity has given me, what connection to my values and vision has given me is composure and that ability to pause, to start to think, well, maybe they didn't mean it like that. The ability to not snowball, to not escalate. And this is something that translates not just in our business and our leadership, but also in our lives. The ability to recover quickly from some minor annoyance. This is what composure is. And the third piece that I think leadership gives us is commitment. To be a leader, to found a business, to run a marathon, to, commit to excellence, whether it is in football, whether it is in house renovation, whether it is in raising your kids, whatever it is in your personal life or your business life or your leadership life requires commitment. Commitment is such an underrated skill in the world today. And so if you listen back to some of my recent podcasts, something that stands out to me, and it's something I've thought about myself, is the conversation with Jodie, for example, from Strata Stories Australia, where we talked about how people now will send strata managers, and this is not just limited to strata managers, right? It might be a supplier you're annoyed with. It might be an employee you're annoyed with. It might be your boss. It might be, the owner of the dance school your kid goes to, right? It doesn't matter. We will chat GPT this message to come across with all this legal language, and we're so indignant, and we end up with this email that is lines and lines and lines long because we're so used to this instant gratification. All of a sudden, we want to become lawyers. We want to have all the answers. We want to, be right immediately. So where traditionally we would have maybe asked the question, we would have paused, we would have committed for a longer period of time to that relationship, or to think, how do I'm committed to waiting for the answer. Now we are just so focused on getting everything now, that we're losing that commitment. And I honestly think that we're losing fulfillment. It's really hard to be fulfilled if things come to you immediately. Naturally, as humans, things that we have to work for, things that we commit to, are going to be the things that we remember in our lives that actually give us the most gratification, that we talk about on our deathbeds or we talk about to other people for years to come. It's actually the hard things, it's the things that are born as part of the struggle, not the things that seemingly just appeared, whether we won a prize or whether it was AI or whatever. Those things are good stories. It's great to get things quickly, it's great to have things with more ease. But I really think that commitment is such an underrated leadership skill set that we can take forwards in our lives, and great things come from it. I look at people that commit to workplaces, right? And I'm not talking about committing to toxic workplaces, but committing to places that will continually develop you, that will invest in you, that will have conversations around your progression, that will look to, where are we going next as an organization, and how can we help you, and then how can you help us get there. That ultimately contributes to your growth, but you need to commit to that organization to actually get it. So there you have it, 3 possibly underrated leadership skills that I think you can bring out to so many things in your life. So clarity, composure, and commitment. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow for more from Endures. Bye.